Bienvenidos a el blog. I don't know how to say blog in Spanish. Welcome to the blog. If you don't know, Kate Colson is hosting a month-long competitive reading challenge, and it's called Sunrise on the Readathon, and it is amazing, fantastic, wonderful. She's a legend and an icon. We're very excited, and thus we have a lot of reading to do. So week 1, battle 1 starts right now, and my team must win. So I've decided that I will use this here magic mushroom that I found in the arena, because it is based on the Hunger Games, and it's going to feed me my reads. Yeah. One of the bonus prompts that can help you get extra points in this readathon is if you pick a book randomly. And so how much more random can you get than a magic mushroom with a bunch of little papers in it? You know what I mean? So that's that. I'm gonna put the prompts like next to me right here so you can see them and not be confused as we go by the video. But I do also talk a lot about mentor recs, because that is also a bonus prompt, is for you to read a book that was recommended by one of the other mentors. I wonder if it counts if I read one of my own recommendations, because I'm also a mentor. Mentor inception. Because kind of getting excited about some of my old favorites now. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Anyways, yeah. If you're interested and curious to know what all books I put inside the magic mushroom, you can check out my July TBR video, aka my Sunrise Survival Strategy. But otherwise, let's dive into this bad boy. Hello. I have officially pulled out my first read for the readathon. It is The Secret Life of Church Ladies by Disha Filial. This is a collection of short stories about several women who are just grappling with the double standards of their church and their own like needs and passions, and just what it means to pursue those things despite the thoughts of their church. And I'm actually already 31-ish% of the way through this book, because it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I logged in for some reading sprints at midnight, pulled this book out of my magic mushroom, and immediately got to listening on audio. However, I did pull the book up on my Kindle app on the computer, and I'm on the Peach Cobbler story. It's really good so far, this book. Like, I really am enjoying the writing style. It has this like almost like an ominous sense, like things are not right here, even though we're kind of getting like the mundane, quote unquote mundane, like tellings of people's lives. Yeah, the one thing I will say, there are a lot of characters that you're front loaded with at the beginning. I don't know if that's just me, but I did find it a little hard to keep up with all the sisters and stuff. But besides that, I'm really enjoying my time. I am gonna try to lay in bed and keep like listening or maybe reading on my Kindle, but I don't know how long I am going to last, because it's 2:30 and it feels like 6. Like, I'm so tired. I will keep y'all updated though, and let's hope we get a lot of reading done in these first 24 hours. All right, look at my new merch. So pretty! It just arrived, and I also got my sweater. very excited. It's going to be fantastic. Anyways, I woke up early this morning and I finished The Secret Lives of Church Ladies. I ended up giving this book a 3.5 rating. It was pretty good. It was well written, I will say that, and it was definitely interesting. Like, I was curious to see what was going to happen, but because it was a collection of short stories, it just lacked a sense of like continuity. There was a common theme of the characters in each of the stories is a person who kind of deviates from the like norms and expectations of their church and the Word of God, but they didn't seem, besides that, to be connected to each other in any discernible way. And so a lot of them, there was not really any like real concrete ending, so it lacked like continuity. It left you kind of like wanting or wishing for something a little bit more. So that's the reason that I did not rate it higher. It just felt like unfinished. But we're gonna move on. Hello to the magic mushroom. Let's pick our next read from the jar. This is nerve-wracking. Okay. Oh, did I drop one? No, I didn't. All right, we got cows. All right, this one was a mentor pick by Travis, and I'm kind of nervous, but I'm gonna load it up onto my Kindle and then make my way to the coffee shop and hopefully read this in one sitting. Let's go.
Hello, you have reached future Adriana, and I have traveled back in time to tell you what this book is about, because why would I have done it in the present time? Literally no reason. Anyways, cows, what is this about? Excellent question. Thank you for asking. This is a gritty urban horror. It's basically about this dude who has a really bad relationship with his mother, like so bad. And he gets a job at, is it like a butchery? Like, I forget what it's like technically called, but basically one of those places where they chop the cows up and ship them off, you know? And he's kind of navigating his relationship with his mom and his life, his job. It's really more of a commentary on alienation and social decay, and it's horror, and it's very gory, and I do not recommend it, but enjoy.
Okay, I have officially loaded Cows up on my Kindle through the Libby app, so it is a, no, not Libby, Kindle Unlimited. So I guess it won't count for a library, but that's okay. I don't know what this book is about. I know it has something to do with a slaughterhouse, and I think I'm gonna leave it at that because it's giving a little like thrillery horror type vibes. So I like to go in blind. And we're just gonna go with the flow. I'm gonna go sit in the coffee shop though, and I'm gonna try to see if I can't hit this in one sitting, because even though it is like over 200 pages, the chapters I think are like 2 or 3 pages each, and that feels manageable. There's like 38 of them or something, so we'll see. All right, I got to 8 chapters out of the 38, which we're making good progress. I was hoping to get through 10 before moving on to another location, but I'm really hungry and it was also kind of loud in there. But this book is deranged. I have concerns. It seems like it's going to be very disturbing for sure. It's funny because the main character refers to his mother as the beast, and that reminds me of when I was growing up and we had a family member who was prone to angry fits, and we also used to call her the beast. Probably shouldn't have done that. I don't do it anymore, but did make me laugh thinking about that. And given how tumultuous their relationship is, I don't know why I'm getting the feeling that he's going to do something to his mother at the slaughterhouse that he just started working at. I hope not, but the characters that even work at the slaughterhouse seem to have like cow fetishes or like weird cow stuff, so there's definitely going to be some weird stuff going on with that. We'll see. I'm gonna go find lunch now and we'll keep y'all updated. Good morning. It is the next day. I had a pretty rough evening. I've been sick for a couple days, but sometimes it just gets to me. And on top of that, I was having trouble with my Discord account. I got kicked out of it, and the customer support people were really unhelpful. Like, I kept telling them that I could only see two buttons. It said log out or verify by email. And they were like, okay, well, since you don't have an email linked to your account, you're gonna have to add one. So go to your settings. I'm like, I can't hit settings. I can only hit log out or verify. They're like, okay, so click forgot password. I'm like, there's no forgot password button. There's only verify and log out. Like, it was bananas. I spent like an hour going back and forth with this man until he finally said he was going to flag it to a supervisor. And then I woke up this morning and I figured it out myself. Anyways, all is well and right in the world. I did finish Cows. I almost don't even want to talk about this book. Like, I'm embarrassed that I finished it. It was deeply, deeply, deeply disturbing. I have very strong concerns for the author of this book and why some of these things even were ideas that formed in his head. Yeah, gross. Probably saw me gagging in the B-roll. It was really hard to read. I kept having to put it down. Like, it was an easy read in terms of like, it was short chapters. They were quick. The pace was fast. But it was hard to read because of just like some of the gore and the disgusting things that are described quickly but in detail, if that makes any sense. So I kept having to kind of like put it down and do something else, just to kind of like, I don't know. And at the end I was like skimming, to be honest, because I couldn't believe that I was even finishing this book. But it is the kind of thing where it's like, you know, when you're like, I can't look away. Like, I needed to know where it was going, and I was kind of, but not really surprised by the ending, just because of like the progression. I don't think I ever really like mentioned what the book is about. There is this young man, I would say like early 30s. He has a pretty tumultuous relationship with his mother, who he calls the Hulk Beast or the Beast. And this relationship is kind of progressing towards a dark place, specifically when he gets a new job at a meat factory, or I don't know what it's called, but the place where they butcher the beef. So I was intrigued to know what would happen, but I can't say that I enjoyed the book. There was a very strong obsession with pee and fecal matter, and definitely a cow fetish. That's all I'll say. Let's move on from this book. Yesterday, I did go on a little walk just because I've been sick in my house for so much. I needed some fresh air. And so I did pick up an audiobook. And I picked it from the Magic Mushroom, of course. So, for continuity reasons, I'm going to put that in here, and then we will talk about that book. Alright, I'm about to go on a walk. I haven't quite finished Cows yet, but since I'm walking, I'm going to listen to something on audio. So we're going to pull it now from the Magic Mushroom. Survey says, Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. This was Samantha's pick. This one is about there's two brothers. One is a chess player. The other one is trying to juggle two relationships with two different women, and he's doing it pretty poorly from my understanding. And that's all I really know. It's litfic, and I'm excited to read something from my cutie Samantha. All right, y'all. See y'all on the flip side of this walk. So Intermezzo, I probably could have described it a little bit better.
Me again from the future. Hello. Yeah, I never described it, so anything I said could have been better. Intermezzo. Basically, this book follows these two brothers. One of them is a chess prodigy, and he encounters this woman that kind of changes the trajectory of his life and the way he thinks about a lot of things. Interesting vibes for sure. And then we have the older brother, Peter, and I could be making that name up, who knows. And Peter, he is a lawyer, and he's kind of grappling with he's navigating two relationships at one time. That's what he's doing. So that's the tea on Intermezzo. It is a literary fiction. We're kind of following both of these brothers shortly after the death of their father. So yeah, I did a great job with that. So let's try that again.
So Intermezzo, I probably could have described it a little bit better, but basically this canon event between these two brothers that's really getting this book started is the fact that their father just passed away. And I'm only about 7% through the book. It does seem like it has a very rich prose. It's very well written in the sense that it's almost lyrical, the writing, from what I'm seeing. The second brother, Ivan Kubek, I'm almost, thus far, I've only read 2 chapters, one in Peter's perspective and one from Ivan's. And so far, I'm much more drawn to Ivan's. He's the former chess prodigy, and he's also the younger brother. And I just find that I don't know if he's meant to be neurodivergent, but that's how he's reading. And he's definitely navigating relationships with other people, like things I should and shouldn't say and things like that. I don't know. It could also be anxiety, but it's reading like a little neurodivergence. And I just find that to have like so much depth, and it can go so well from here. So I'm intrigued to hear about his relationships, specifically with this woman that he just met. I already forgot her name. But we are fresh into the book, so there is hope yet for Peter, the other brother, and we'll see. I am headed to the beach, and hopefully we will get a good chunk of this book in there. What a great day. Today was like the epitome of what a summer day should feel like. Like, just took a 2-hour, almost 3-hour drive to another state to go to a lake water park that my brother's been really into, which is funny because back in 2016, I had gone there with some of my sisters and was really into it. And so it's like full circle that he's like really into that place now. And just going with him and his fiance, my cousins, and it felt like a road trip. We fell asleep. He was mad that we fell asleep, and we got there and like did all these adventures and zip lining and cliff diving and laying in the sun, and me and the girls were like floating around and talking about, you know, like deep stuff and sharing fries, like Dippin' Dots. It was like the perfect like summer day. And then we all like on the car ride back, we're just kind of jamming to like old songs together and you know, like picking jokes, and it was perfect. It was like the perfect day. I feel like I'm on cloud 9. I did read a little bit of intermezzo, even though I did pick up the Kindle version. Obviously, I've mostly been listening to it. I feel like this book is a little challenging to get through because it can be a little mundane. Like, it's very, very, very slow paced. It can also be a little like dense. I was wrong previously. I thought maybe the character was shaping up to be neurodiverse, but it seems more so like social anxiety. I was just hopeful for some disability rep, I guess. That being said, still probably the strongest character in this book. I feel like the brother, I think Peter, I don't know why his name always goes over my head, but it can be hard to read the chapters in his POV because they are very representative of his mindset, right? Like, he's clearly having some mental health issues, suicidal ideation and things like that, and the writing style is representative of that because it can be very like choppy. A lot of the times the sentences are not even complete sentences, and so while it is a good representation of his point of view, it can be hard to digest sometimes, and that kind of makes it less enjoyable than Ivan's chapters. But I will say that I am just so incredibly intrigued by the relationship between Rosemary and Ivan. I'm gonna look up the character names because why do I feel like I'm butchering this? I was right. Yeah, I just find the development of the relationship between Ivan and Margaret so interesting, just like their dynamic. The way that Ivan is kind of keeping this secret almost about his interaction regarding her with his brother, and just like the inevitable downfall of that whole situation kind of has me like gripped, I will say. It is slow, like I mentioned, like a very slow like development and rollout of this plot, but something about it is like worth it. There is, for example, I'm in chapter 10 right now, and there's this whole discussion that Ivan is having with his friend, I think Sylvia. And it's just so thought-provoking, and that's what gets me about Sally Rooney's writing. So basically they're talking about whether a statement is a lie or not. And the statement is, all my hats are green. And they're kind of talking about like, just like from a logical mathematical standpoint, is that a lie if the person doesn't own any hats? And he's basically like, okay, well, like conditionally speaking, you're talking about if X, then Y. So if I have hats, then they're all green. But if I have no hats, then it's not a lie, because like this metaphorical hat that would be green doesn't actually exist. So I'm not lying, because it doesn't break the like if blank then blank, right? Like if I have a hat, then it would be green, but I don't have a hat, therefore it's not green, so it's not a lie. But then they're talking about like if it was in the singular, like if my sister standing over there, I don't have a sister, so how can she be standing over there? So then like no matter what, it's always a lie if it's in the singular, but if it's in the plural, it's conditional, so it's not a lie. I am not explaining it as well as Ivan was explaining it, but it just has you thinking so much, because I think all of this stuff is like very subjective. And I recently was having a conversation with a friend about whether lying by omission is actually lying. And she says, if you omitted something from me, it is just always a lie to me. And in my head, I kind of see it as like, I don't feel that everyone has the need, or like there's no reason that people have to tell me everything about their life. So if they omit certain things, that's fine and not a lie to me. I think it's a lie if that person is, by omitting something, allowing me to believe a different truth, or allowing me to believe something that is different from the truth by not telling me the truth. Then to me, that is a lie by omission. Yeah, just really gets you thinking, about truth and lies. And it's crazy that something like lying can have a gray area. Such is life, a wild and crazy time. But I am over 50% through Intermezzo. I'm really hoping that tomorrow I will be able to finish it. And I'm not gonna lie, this is Delulu, but a little part of me is telling me that I can finish 30 books in 30 days in July. My highest record of books read in 1 month, I think, is 22 books. And the thing is that I won't compromise like actually enjoying and internalizing the book. So like I have to have enough time to read it and really internalize it and enjoy or hate read, whatever it is. Like I'm not just gonna like read books for the sake of it, but I also think it's like fun, to like just be your own high scores. So that being said, I think I'm gonna lay in bed and just kind of enjoy a little bit of the Throne of Glass series. I'm like in the middle of it. I won't talk about it here, but yeah, maybe just like 2 or 3 chapters of that, because I've been working on those on the back burner. And then tomorrow we will go strong on finishing Intermezzo and starting something new. Buenos nachos! Woo. A good full day of sprinting and reading and listening to Intermezzo, and I'm finally done with it. I think I'm gonna end up giving this one a 3.5 star rating, which honestly I could be convinced to raise this a little bit more. I think that it's the fact that this is not the type of book that I would typically pick up that makes me a little hesitant, but I will say that I really, really, really enjoyed the experience of reading this book. It was much more complex than what I was expecting, and also that, like, why choose mentality for a second there had me a little scared. But jokes aside, there were so many things to think about, from like the discussion of relationships between parents and their children, and just this idea of like siblings as well. I was thinking so much about like how easy it could be for siblings to not get along, because literally they can be completely different people, and even though they have this shared experience of growing up in childhood together, doesn't necessarily mean that they're slated to like get along, which is interesting because a lot of siblings actually fight a lot because probably they're in forced proximity but have very different personalities, like living styles, preferences, you know? There was also this huge discussion around age and relationships, age gaps, what's like appropriate or not. And I found that while pretty much every character in this book was like unlikable, she wrote them so well to the point that I was still rooting for them. And then that made it difficult because a lot of these relationships really weren't appropriate. But because I'm rooting for the characters, I wanted things to work out. Very conflicting thoughts indeed. A lot to think about. All hail the magic mushroom. Okay, we've got... You guys look first. The Witch of Willow Sound! This is Kat's mentor pick. So, I am really excited to get to this in the morning. I will tell you about it then. Buenos nachos.
All this time travel is getting exhausting. Maybe I could just film in real time, not have to deal with those anymore. Let's talk about The Witch of Willow Sound. I feel like I definitely have footage talking about this, but see, the thing is, this thing happened.
I can't believe you can order a whole Nintendo Switch 2 off of Uber Eats.
Yeah, that's me falling under the influence of my girl Gretchen and ordering a Nintendo Switch 2 and Pokopia through Uber Eats. And it was all downhill from there. That's all I can say, okay? I did film something about The Witch of Willow Sound. I just have no idea where it is. That book basically follows a girl whose aunt, Madeline, disappears, and she goes off to Nova Scotia, to this little town, to go and figure out what's going on with her aunt. But she gets there, and there's this little town, and it's like looming under the doom of this like boulder rock situation that's going to fall over it or whatever. And she realizes that none of those people are going to help her because they all think that her aunt is a witch. And to be honest, I didn't have a lot of thoughts on this book. Like, I thought it was cutie, I thought it was fun, like I had a good old time, but it was not like anything that really stood out as like amazing and fantastic and wonderful. You know, like it was just fine. It was a good time. I think I gave it 3 stars. And with that, I present to you our final statistics for Battle of Sunrise. on the readathon. It was a good old time. Can we beat it in week 2? Stay tuned to find out whenever I edit the next video. If you made it this far, leave me a witch in the comments. Preferably a witch of Willow Sound. But if you enjoyed this, make sure you hit that like button. If you want to join the family, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I will see you all when I see you next. Bye!